Okay, we are back from the dado bladed table saw. We have our dados done, and now we are ready to lay out all of our hole locations. Okay, the bottom ones are going to be the easiest to do, so we can start there. As you can see here, it shows 4 inches from this point here, and then it shows 3/8 of an inch up. So what we can do is just take any one of our rulers, tape measures. Let's see, what do I want to try this time? You know, you could measure 4 inches and then 3/8, which is half of 3/4, so it's on center. Okay, and so all I need is a crosshair there. You don't need to draw the smaller circle, the bigger circle. The drill bit's going to do that. So again, 4 inches in, mark. Okay, so that's that. Do that again here real quick. Let's see, 4 inches on center, which would be 3/8. Okay, cool. So that's easy enough. Okay, the next marks that you're going to draw are a little more tricky, but we can do it. Are these 2 holes there. Now those 2 holes are centered on the dado. So we actually need to know where the dado is, and we can't just look at it from this side. We gotta know where it is here. However, the holes are gonna be drilled from this outer side. So just drawing them here, marking them here, because then we could use the dado, doesn't help us. We need the marks on the outside. And as we learned with the drill press, the side where you enter with the drill bit is always going to be nicer. Where it exits is going to be bad. Potential more chipping and stuff. So drilling from this side and poking out that side wouldn't be good in any situation. So how do we find the center of this dado on this side of the board? Okay, my advice would be to find the center of it. So half of a 3/4 inch dado is 3/8. So you could find 3/8. Make a mark all the way to the top edge here. Okay, same thing here. This is where one of those smaller rulers would come in handy. Should grab one. Okay. There we go. Now all we got to do is just connect the dots. So grab a ruler, straight edge, something. Okay, and now that should be an 8-degree angle, just like the 8-degree angle on the dado. So if you drew a straight line, you did something wrong. Okay. So 3/8. Just try to make that as accurate as you possibly can. I'm kind of hurrying for the sake of the length of the video. You guys should not be rushing and estimating as much as I am. Just trying to make things go quicker. Okay. Cool. Okay. Now, so we have that mark, and so that's going to tell us where those are. Now what we need to do is do the 11/16 down and the 11/16 up. Now whether you do that straight up like the drawing suggests or at an angle, you're maybe talking about a 32nd of an inch. So yeah, like I said, you can do it straight if you just want to be exactly what the drawing suggests, but we'll be fine. So 15, 14, 13, 12, 11/16 would be right there. And we'll do it the other way, this way, straight up and down. Let's see. 8. Okay, looks good. Okay, same thing here. Let's see. Cool. Now, just a pro tip, just because we're going to be going over there. These are going to be counterboard holes. So if we look at the 3D picture of it, you can see it's a large hole that goes part of the way into the wood, and then a small hole that goes all the way through. So we're going to be using 2 different drill bits, and the large drill bit doesn't go all the way through the wood. Okay, so we want to make a mark at the correct depth. So this symbol here means diameter. And so we're diameter 3/16 through. So that is describing the through hole. So that's easy enough. This symbol means counterbore. And so that's the larger one that only goes part of the way through. So the counter bore, its diameter is 3/8. So that makes sense. That's pretty, straightforward. 3/16 is smaller, so it goes through. 3/8 is bigger, so it doesn't. And then that symbol represents depth of 1/4 of an inch. So we're going to mark that here, just on the side, so we know how deep we want to go. And we'll just use that for setting up the drill press. And we only have to do that once, because once the drill press is set, we'll set that depth stop, and that'll be good to go. Okay, the other, and by the way, the ×4 just means that dimension set is used 4 times. So that's, again, so we're not over cluttering a sketch. It's not being written down there 4 times. Okay, the other one is down here for the bottom. Again, same thing, 3/16 through. The counter bore is 3/8 diameter. However, its depth is 5/8. And that shouldn't, when you look at this drawing, obviously those look a lot shallower than that one. And this one's going into the dado, so there's not much room to counter bore anyway. So that kind of should hopefully make sense. But its depth is 5/8. So again, on just one of the boards, we should make a mark at 5/8. So there's 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, and then 5/8. We'll just make that mark once. And again, once we get the drill press set up to that, we're good. So we'll lock it to that. We're just going to do one. Obviously you would take the time to at least draw this point, these 4 points, those 2 points. On the other one, we kind of stopped short. But again, you know what to do. For the sake of the video, we'll move along. Bring this over to the drill press. Okay, we got the 2 drill presses set up right now for these top counter bores. We have the Forstner bit, which is going to be really good for these, the large diameter. And then we have the classic twist drill bit, which is going to be for our through holes. Okay, now we need to set the depth. And again, hopefully I get you a good camera angle here. But so we've got our depth stop, where it should stop at, our 1/4 of an inch down. So let's see how well we did. Again, sorry if I don't get you a good enough angle here, but what I'm looking at is where the cutter is going to be making a flat. It seems to be right there on the mark. And again, trying to get you a good angle here. My apologies if I don't. But so we set that to there. That looks good. It definitely isn't going to go through our board, so that's important. Okay, we don't want to pull this down too hard. We don't want this skipping on us or anything. So, okay, this looks pretty good. Last time I tried to use the light, it was pretty bright. So you guys can use the LED. I'm going to leave it off. There we go. So that seems to line up good. We're going to do this bit first and that one second with Forstner bits, and I'll show you why. Okay, so again, hold it down securely. Tight up against the fence here. And again, make sure you don't have any long hair or baggy clothes or anything here. Now that's about the right depth. The cutter should be just a little less than flush. Yep. I'm happy with that. The other 2 here. Notice how I flip the board this way because it's spinning clockwise. I always want my excess over here. I don't want it over here because it could flip around and hit me. That is exactly what you want. Okay, again, hopefully you get a good view of this, but the Forstner bit leaves a nice flat bottomed hole. That's what we want. And it also leaves that little dot there in the center, and that's going to be really easy to make sure these 2 holes are concentric, meaning they share the same center point. It'll be really easy for that bit to want to hit that point. Okay, we can't flip this order, unfortunately, with the Forstner bit because it needed material there to guide it. There is a little tip on that bit, and if we did this one first, this one would have a real heck of a time trying to make a nice straight hole without wood there. So for this one, we're going to do Forstner first, and then we're going to come over here and do this one. Now this one should be set up to where it goes through my part into this board, but stops. It doesn't go into the metal table. So this one's set up good as well. Again, try to hit that center point. We want our holes to be concentric, sharing the same center point. Voila. Okay. And look at that, nice and centered. We ended up making all our measurements right, so they're gonna be nice and centered in the dado. That's good. Okay, now we are gonna have to make a quick change to this bit for these holes here. So I'm gonna hold on to the top, hold on to the bottom, kind of bring my hands together and swap that bit out with a classic twist drill bit. This may be something that I already set up for you guys, so you shouldn't have to do. Yeah, look at them. I'm already having problems here. I gotta lower the table, so get to bring you guys on all the examples of how to do stuff here. So we're gonna lower that a bit. Again, hopefully for you guys, I already have this all set up, but if not, this is how you do it. Okay, if you're not comfortable doing any of this, just flag me down, I'll help you out. Oh, I guess I could have brought that up. Looks like it needed to come up anyway. That's okay, we didn't waste our time. Okay, so that's good. Now we gotta set that 5/8. So again, hopefully I get you a decent angle here. And about somewhere on the, I know there's a 118 degree angle there. It kind of makes it hard to line up, but yeah, I could come down a little more. Again, the drill press stops nice. That's about where we want it. Okay, now this one, well, I'm gonna have to adjust this drill press too. I can't get through my part. That's okay. Again, I loosen the clamp first, and I tighten the clamp down. It should, you saw how effortless that handle cranked. If you gotta force the handle and you know you got problems. Now I have to readjust the depth stop again. This is gonna be a very informational video. Okay, there, stop, it goes through the board, stop short. Okay, now this one I'm gonna do the small diameter first because the 118 degree angle on this bit will chase a small hole really well. So, you know, if you're just dealing with twist drill bits, you normally do the small one first, then you go to the big one. But the Forstner bit kind of changed the rules a little bit. Okay, you are gonna see me clear the chips, meaning I go into the hole, I come back up, let the chips come out, go back down, come back up. Okay, that's gonna make for a nicer hole. It's gonna keep things from binding up. Okay, so, and make sure you have good down pressure. You do not want the part pulling up on you. And if you're really uncomfortable with holding it, we do have some clamps over there. That does kind of slow things down a little bit. So that's your decision to make. Clearing the chips. Yeah, I'm hurrying a little too much. You can see I didn't do a perfect job there, but that's okay. You guys shouldn't have to make any adjustments to this. There we go. Okay. Yeah, this one I wish I would have got that hole a little closer to the edge. We got away with it, yeah. Okay, so the 5/8 was really important, that depth. I'll show you why if you go too deep or too shallow, because we are going to be using these wood screws. Okay, they're the shiny 2-inch with that Torx head. If you see any of these floating around, that's for Woods 2 and Woods 3. They have kind of that extra grip to them. That's better for hardwood. You guys are going to want the stuff that's better for pine. Anyway, it's a 2-inch wood screw. So without a counterboard, this is how we're going to attach our top, and that's not going to bite very much if it's flush there. So we want to go through. So there we go. But now too deep, and now this would come out too far. And if it comes out too far when we attach our tops, it's going to end up poking through the top and end up, you know, where you're going to be stepping, you're going to have a sharp tip of a screw. So that 5/8 is actually really important to get right. You want to make sure you get the correct depth there. Okay, but that is it. We've counterbored for our sides and our bottoms. Our stretchers are done. So we need to revisit the legs, get those ready. We need to make a 8 degree or 45 degree chamfer to our top, and we'll be ready for assembly.